Hello, friends, and welcome to the Monday Show 17. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend, Roots. Roots, what a tomorrow VR has in store for
No,
us.
I can't wait. I've been psyched for Boneworks, budget cuts. We got a lot of stuff coming out, right? State of play. Um,
Layers of
yeah,
fear.
yeah. So tomorrow's gonna be an epic start to the month, and who would have thunk it, right?
Yeah, I know. Last month, as we rounded out what was an epic month for VR, we just kind of had this sentiment going forward, like, all right, so October was better than August, or September rather. November better than October. No way that December is going to be able to continue the trend, but December's not going out laying down. It's coming out swinging, and case in point, Deathlap at the very beginning of the month, out of nowhere. We heard about Deathlap a while back, but it came out with very little footage. We didn't really think it was anywhere near completion, and then just out of nowhere, Deathlap drops. It works perfectly on day one, no day one jank, and wow, what a
Yeah, this
blast,
game's
right?
amazing, and I guess we should get used to that at least for a while because um, we don't get the extra notification for these games, so they just drop out of nowhere, just to avoid the anticipation nightmare that can be. But yeah, so this game, I couldn't believe how fun it is, and I know it's a little bit arcadey, at least some people say, but this is one of the funnest racing games I've played so far, and the racing is actually very reactive. You know, one of the things I have, most games without a wheel don't feel right. At least in racing, to me, it's like I can never race it properly, and I just end up not playing it. So
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Deathlap is the brand new battle racer from Ozway Games. And by the way, we'd like to thank Ozway Games for giving us review access to this on day one. It's a game in that same vein as the old school classics like Twisted Metal and Road Rash. That same style of being on the road, going at 1,000 miles an hour, but instead of paying complete attention to where you're going, really your thoughts are on killing the enemy. And it's a lot of fun. I think the only way you can really do a game like this is as kind of like a arcade
yeah, I
style,
don't know
right?
how you would do it. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, you're blowing each other up. You're picking up missiles and guns and barbed wire and all sorts of shit. You know, I can't remember the last race I saw where people were doing that. So yeah, it's going to be arcadey. It's going to be a little bit more of that nature. But man, dude, it feels so good. Especially like even just the picking up the special weapons, which you know it took me a while to figure out that they're actually right there in front of you on the dash. But you've got some kind of a crossbow that shoots out bombs and stuff. You've got a gun you can pick up. I've thrown barbed wire for the people behind me. But the biggest misconception is there's a lot of death in there, and people think, oh man, I'm going to be dying a lot. But I'll tell you what, I've spent a lot of time trying to kill some players that, especially Derek, man, Derek 18, dude, was he not a fucking beast? And I couldn't kill him, dude, because there's a shield, and you use the energy, that blue bar right there. And so that energy will also speed you up. It'll shield you. Each car has a different type of shield, and so you don't have unlimited energy. You can't just waste it. And it is a race. At the end of the day, like you said, it's different from Twisted Metal in the case that it's not you're not just killing people. You're really trying to win. So that's on your mind as well, and you're trying to boost, but you're trying to shield yourself. You got all sorts of guns, people killing each other. It's chaos. You know, cats and dogs living together. You know, all the shit is going on in this game.
Yeah, mass hysteria. Yeah, when this game dropped, I jumped into it immediately. Actually, before it dropped, a few hours beforehand, I jumped into it immediately and cut my teeth on some of the single player, which was great fun. But just before filming this show today, Roots and I tried out the multiplayer for the first time, and that's where this game shines,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but say one thing that I and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody watching this, or if I'm right, then the devs, please fix this. But we couldn't figure out how to join each other. Like we literally had to go into the menu and time it down 3, 2, 1. And granted, I don't know that there's that many people right now playing this, so that there's 17 races going on. So it's probably easier to find each other. But at some point, there should be a way to where I can just invite my friend. We go in a queue or whatever. But yeah, man, the multiplayer in this, I can imagine if you had 6 players that you knew everybody. And I'd love to try that with viewers. It would be chaos. Everyone's shit talking each other, and I don't know. We had a lot of fun. It was just us two and Derek, and I guess there was a 4th person. But man, like Derek did so well, we didn't even finish the race, right?
Yeah, yeah. Especially at first, Roots and I are still kind of trying to learn how to play, and then this guy Derek comes out of nowhere, and I really thought it was cool. Uh, Players can join mid race. It's kind of they just drop in right in the pack there and join. Apparently, at least that's what it seemed
Yeah,
like,
I
right?
think so. And because the bots are really good too. They're not just sloth drivers, and they're shooting you, they're killing you, they're shielding. I was trying to kill a bot, and I couldn't kill it. So it is very challenging, and I think the fact that a person can drop in at any time lets you know that even though it's a race, it's still the battle is what their focus is. Because if it was a legitimate, like, oh my God, I'd be kind of irritated. Well, fuck, man, this guy's the bot's ahead of me, and then it's a person, and they're gonna run away with it or whatever. But there's so much death and chaos, it's almost impossible to do that. And there's like secret passageways and shit. There's things that like you'll have to shoot to open up a wall, and man, there's a lot to this, and we've only seen, I feel like I've only scratched the surface, and I've heard a lot of people complain there's only 5 tracks, and I say, slow down, slow your roll, it's okay. They'll probably add. I'm sure they're going to add more, and these tracks are the coolest tracks as well. Like this one's Vegas. You got the roller coaster, you got the pinball course. Each one is just bizarre and has so much to look at. Wouldn't you say? Is it? I don't know. It's just very different.
Yeah, I love the tracks. I love how big they were. They were wide open spaces, as you can see here. They're not these narrow little paths or roadways for you to travel on. There's lots of room for drifting. There's loads of hidden shortcuts that you can take. Even some of them, you really have to pretty much stop and look around to find the entrance. Uh, and you alluded to it that it's a constant battle. There's tons of violence and chaos going on, and it's not only your opponents that are trying to kill you. The tracks themselves are trying to kill you, and I thought that was a nice
Yeah,
touch.
there's like dice rolling down the fucking road, smashing you, and yeah.
Pinballs.
So I agree with was it Radio Runt that was saying that this is like one of the coolest, funnest games as far as these racing games. I think it was him. But yeah, it's definitely one of the coolest games I've played of this nature, probably ever. It's definitely up there on the list.
Yeah, a great game. Easy for I would imagine this is one that would be easy for flat gamers to just pick up and go with, because a lot of people are getting their quests for the first time. And let me just say, when Roots and I played just before this show, Roots, of course, in on his Oculus Rift S. I went in on the Quest for the first time. Last time I played it last week, I just played on the S. Uh, Today I played it on the Quest, and I couldn't really tell a lot of difference on the Quest. But with that said, it's not like you have time to just sit there and look around and be a graphics whore, because you're going at 1,000 miles an hour, trying not to die, trying to murder people. But when you're in the game, when you're playing, this thing is just as beautiful on the Quest as it is on Rift S, and I think that that's a testament to the quality of the developers there at Osway
Yeah, and it's
Games.
one of the things I wanted to add too, is I'm thinking about the gameplay, and some of the complaints I've heard people say, you know, that it was, I don't know, that might be too easy, or I don't know, just too simple. But man, like even just the advanced things, like there's things you can do to build that energy bar, like barrel rolls and using your brake to skid around corners and shit. So I guarantee if you get really good at racing this, you're going to be owning people. Because like it just did. I don't know. It felt so good.
It makes me jealous that I can't just dedicate a bunch of time into one game and getting really good at this. Because, like you said, every little thing that the game allows you to do, and there's a lot of maneuvers and different things you can do, but it all feeds that power bar, that blue bar on top there. And that blue bar is your biggest advantage. The more energy you can keep in that, the faster you can drive, the better defense that you have. And then on top of those perks that bar gives you, if you're in command of your vehicle and you know how to drift and you know how to do all these barrel rolls, like Ruuts said, you're just going to own people. And yeah, it's still the early days. There's still time for us to get good and stay ahead of everybody. But like we said, with all the different stuff coming out this week, who in the world is going to have that kind of time? You know, there's going to be some guy out there like Derek 118 or whatever that's just going to play this game relentlessly nonstop every day, and he's going to be the king.
What was your favorite car? Because each car has different abilities, different weapons, different things. Like what was your favorite weapon, at least in the ones I know you tried a couple different cars?
Yeah, I tried two different ones, and my favorite one, at least initially, is the one you didn't like, the one with the lasers on the front of it. Basically, because I tried the other one, I tried instead of like a machine gun, like an automatic weapon in the right hand, it had like this missile launcher. And sure, you get 50 shots with it, but it has a cooldown period associated, so you can't just go full bore. You shoot a few shots and then you have to wait. And this game is extremely high paced. When you see an enemy, you want to lay into them immediately, and I felt held back by the other car.
See, I like the one that had the those saws that come out, because you'll get up close to people, and I even killed you that way. You don't even do it; it just does it. They pop out and just kill the people, and then also it's got the Gatling gun or like a gun. And so you're actually able to shoot bullets at people. Like I had the one too. I was shooting missiles instead of the like bullets, and it was hard to hit people as well. But man, I can kill people because you kept asking like somebody's shooting me, and it was me trying. I couldn't kill you though, man. You were using your shield like a boss. But
yeah, you learned that early on. You better use that shield, or you're not going to make it very far.
So.
Yeah, but the gameplay extremely addictive, extremely fun. I really like the way that they separate out the controls so that your left hand is driving and your right hand is attacking. So you're steering and accelerating on the left controller, and then your basic weapon is in your right hand, your special weapon, and then if you pick up like special weapons along the track, they pop up on your dashboard, and you literally grab them with your right hand and aim and shoot. And there's an Uzi submachine gun. There are traps that you can lay, like barbed wire traps. There's a awesome flaming skull crossbow that I thought was just firing bombs, but apparently it leaves those bombs on the track if you miss, right?
Yeah, because I was like ran into one of those, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And you were laughing because you just killed me with your bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I was just firing it, but I got way past the point. I didn't even have the crossbow anymore, and it popped up on screen. Your skull bomb killed Ruuts or something like that, and it was.
Yeah,
funny.
this is just cool. Like this is Vegas, man. Who doesn't want to drive a race through Vegas with dice rolling at you, blowing other cars up? Like that's all what VR was made for, you know.
Yeah, it's a blast, a great experience, and my experience in it so far is the more time you put into it, the more fun it becomes because you learn the tracks, you learn how to play in general, and whereas my first time through the first track, I thought it was okay. The more I play it, the more it grows on me, and this seems like it's going to be a staple in my VR diet for the days and weeks to come.
For sure.
All right, so moving on. We tried another game this week, and I'm going to go ahead and let Roots tell us about that game. Roots, what else did we
All
play?
right. So this game is Nostos, and I wanted to pick it up really because it looked cool, and everybody was either shitting on it or saying it was cool. So I needed to figure out what the issue was. Apparently, I not apparently because I tried it on day one. There was a lot of issues with the release as far without it just jank optimization really. Still isn't as good as it needs to be, and that's where people are really upset because um, big fans of this game feel like they should have just waited. They shouldn't have rushed it. They shouldn't have pushed the release. And a lot of even the game testers were saying, nah, "Don't release it, man. It's not ready." And they did it anyway, which I'm kind of glad because I really am enjoying it. Um, but it's like a first multiplayer of game like this that I've ever seen. It's got a very big theme, kind of like a Sword Art Online type. It's what people have said as far as like how it looks, and I think that's the appeal, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's the appeal to me was the big beautiful world that they built. You know, you can tell from the footage, not only in the trailer but in the gameplay footage, that this world is just massive and the art style is beautiful. But I put in a short stint into it just to review it or just to check it out for the show today. And I had very low expectations going in because I've watched some recent footage of this that showed it to be just constant jitter, janky mess, and I was surprised that they released it so soon. Uh, and then after getting into it today, upon trying it out, not as bad as I thought that it was going to be. You can move around it, and it's not so broken that you can't enjoy it. The world just as big and beautiful as I had hoped it was going to be. I mean, really, really massive open world here, full of bandits and creatures of all different sorts that you run across. With that said, I kind of understand why people are upset here. This game seems like a beta to me. It doesn't seem like a finished game. When you get into the menus, anytime that you choose anything, the game breaks for about 5 to 10 seconds where all these weird artifacts and stuff were popping up for me, and the world in general was just vibrating around me, and eventually it recovers and puts you into the next area. But literally this was time and time again as I went through it. I got into the game, woke up. I had some point of view issues when the character was laying on the ground asleep, but after you get up, that all remedies itself. I walked about 50 feet up the valley, and my little wolf creature was really cool looking. Your companion pet there, you can see it in the picture there. But it found this spot on the side of the hill that it found interesting. Went up and started sniffing the mountain, and then its head just kind of morphed and went through into the ground. And so I thought that was cool. So I just sit there and watch to see what it was going to do. And it just started floating up the side of the mountain and just flew basically about 50 foot high with its head morphed into the mountain. Um, there was just tons of stuff like that. I can definitely see the potential here if they finish it and get it to what it should be. This game might be great. Not just good. This might be a great game. There's loads of potential here. But from what I am experiencing now, it puts me in the mind of early access Seeking Dawn. Seeking Dawn was also a very big open world with a very appealing graphically, a different kind of game, and it had a lot of these similar kinds of struggles at first.
Yeah, and it's the biggest problem, I guess I should clarify as well, that really is what I've seen, and it's a very legitimate issue, is what they stated when it, I mean, this is a full release, man. This isn't even early access. Supposedly this is done, dude. There's
Yeah.
no way. That's why people were like, they should have at least released it early access. Or if it's a finished game, then it needs to be finished because it is amazing. Like the one world, I don't know, you said you went to that middle one that I suggested, right? With the story or whatever.
Right.
Okay, so
That's
there's
right.
like probably you go into this first thing, you go into this main area and there's just people running around, and that's where Roots loves. I love to fuck with people, so I just start screaming people's names. Hey, what's going? Like I know them, you know, and I just get into conversations with people, and I ended up getting into having somebody invite me into this world, and it was there's an explorer world, like it's like a world that is just you just go around and look around. There was tons of people came in, and so we were running around doing stuff, and I didn't even know I was in the story thing, and it was really cool. So you go into that main area where everyone's hanging out, and you go up the stairs, and you'll go in. There's 5 different slots. You go into one of the slots to save, and there's a whole bunch of different globes or orbs or whatever, and most of them are locked, right? So there's like maybe 8 worlds or something that I can't even have access to. You can't get to this one till you finish this one. So there's a lot of content, and I don't know how big the one world that we've started on is. So I'm really psyched to see what this game has to offer, and it's got up to 6 people per world. And it saves it just like you would say like a Minecraft server or the forest, you know. I mean, I played this game and I thought, man, this is Scion's game, dude. He's gonna love this game when it's fixed. You know, I wouldn't recommend anybody buying it until they've optimized it a little bit better, or if you know that you're gonna love this game. Like I bought it anyway to try it, and I figured I'm gonna play it anyway down the road. I'll give the devs the benefit of the doubt. They're gonna optimize this game. So.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to take a wait and see approach with it because I mean, while like you, I can't recommend anybody pay for this game. It's got a lot of issues, but I definitely see a lot of upside to it. And look at Seeking Dawn. Like I said, Seeking Dawn was pretty much like this when it first came into early access, and look at how far it's come. Seeking Dawn's a great game now. And I think that this has the potential to at least be as good as Seeking Dawn, if not better. The world seems like it's going to be a lot bigger. It's I don't know. I want to say that it looks better, but it's a different art style. So Seeking Dawn looks better in some ways, and this looks better in other ways. There's just a lot of optimization that needs to be done. A lot of things are broken that need to be fixed. And to the developers' credit, they appear to be on it. They put a message out. They're releasing the first of apparently many updates today, actually, on it. So I'm just gonna let this one bake. I'm gonna walk away from it for a while, come back in a month or two, and give it another shot. Because, like I said, there is a lot of upside here. It seems like a really big fantasy campaign once you get into it. The one thing that really did impress me, if nothing else, was the sound. I thought that the music in this game was absolutely
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it
And
was
yeah,
really good. And one thing I didn't mention is the intricacies of like the leveling or the crafting, and like I found this module, and it was like I didn't know what to do with it when I don't know if how far you got in, and I was like, okay, I got a module. It said to be able to build furniture and stuff. And so I stuck it in my inventory, and then I found I was able to build a research table, and then I was researched it, and now I was able to do that. And so you're unlocking stuff, and I came across other NPCs, right? And so as I'm coming across this NPC, I had the option to invite them to join me. And so now I've got this NPC, and they're out and they're doing shit. They're gathering. Like I came back to camp, I was fucking around with Lupus out there, just doing some shit. Lupus is the dog, and I came back, and there was bandits attacking, and so I was fighting them, and so they joined in the fight, and then I realized, oh my god, there's like 4 or 5 chests here that weren't here before that they built, the NPCs, and there was a bunch of they like weapons and stone. I mean, they built shit. I was like, this is Roots' backpack, and I'm playing by myself. You know, I jumped in and they carried me around, and it was cool. I liked it. So
yeah, I didn't find any friendlies. Only bandits that I came across. I killed one of them. It's cool because like you fight these guys, And once you start getting the better of them, they try to run away from you. But if you chase them, they will fight back and fight to the death. And I thought that was pretty fun fighting that bandit. I did find a few of those modules. I never got to the point of crafting things or building. I didn't play it that long. But yeah, like I said, a lot of potential with this game. It seems like a lot of thought went into it. It just seems half baked. It seems like they released it a little too early, and they're saying all the right things. Let's just hope that they follow through with it because, man, what a waste it would be if they were to just walk away with from something this close to being great.
I haven't
yeah.
been able to ride a chocobo yet. When I was at open world, somebody was saying, "Hey, I found chocobos," and he was riding one or something. So I was like, "Man, I did get to ride a motorcycle." So yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I definitely think this is something to watch, like you said, and it's something that I am going to continue to go back into, just now probably, like within the next day or two, because I want to see, especially with this new patch. So
yeah, let's hope they haven't totally destroyed it. Their potential by shooting themselves in the foot and releasing early, because it can be hard to come back from if a lot of people get refunds on day one, and then you have this torrent of bad reviews, so new people don't check it out even after you fix it. Let's hope that they haven't ruined their prospects here. Huh?
Yeah, that happens, but if they do it right, they can come back. But it's kind of a shame they didn't just wait a little bit longer and just release it, without the jank.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be a shame if they can't finish this, because I do think that they're onto something here.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what we've been playing, and now we're going to move into our topic for the week. And the topic this week is a timely one because tons of new people coming into VR. Everywhere you look, Oculus Quest sold out, Oculus Rift sold out, PlayStation VR, as always, is the deal, and loads of people buying into PSVR for the first time. I just started a new job this past week, and people, I just happened to randomly walk up on people I've never met before, and they were talking about VR, how they want to get a PlayStation VR. I'm like, dude, let me tell you, let me tell you what you can have behind door number one. But yeah, VR's profile is really high, loads of new people coming in, and Roots, as soon as you try VR and you realize how cool it is, your mind, the first thing it goes to is, I got to show everybody. I got to show them. But not everybody's got the stomach for it. Not everyone's has the gaming wherewithal to just be able to pick up and start playing, these highly immersive games. So you kind of want to tailor what you pick for them to play to their experience level. So we thought it would be a good time to revisit an old topic, and that being games that are great to demo for people who are new to VR. And we've got loads of them right now. So, Roots, what is your first pick as a great demo title for the holiday season?
Well, I was going to pick Nostos, but I think that's not a good one to throw somebody new in. I think they'd probably die. But no, this one actually just released, and it's got amazing things going for it, and that would be the climb, and at least released on the Quest. And whenever I think of the ultimate way to show people VR, I think of the Quest. And not only because it looks so good from what people say, but like I've said before, man, there's nothing like that feeling of standing in somebody's living room and having a fear of heights and thinking, well, this is fucking weird, man. I'm in a game and I'm afraid I'm going to fall. It just highlights VR in a way that a lot of games don't. And it's something that everybody can do. And there's no real learning curve to doing this, I mean, I guess you got to shake your hand, so.
Yeah. The climb is one of those good examples of, when people come into VR, there's a few things that VR does well, as far as immersing players and making them feel something in a way that flat gaming can't. And heights is one of those things where if you take somebody who has a particular fear of heights and put them in VR, into a very high place, into a climbing game or something of that sort, you can really elicit a big response out of them. And I think the climb is a great way to do that. If there's someone you know who has some kind of a phobia or some kind of an effect, a physical effect from being in high places, you can exploit that by putting them in the climb. But beyond that, this is a good game to demo to people because of the graphics, the visuals, the way that it looks. I've recently got this on Oculus Quest, and watch out for an upcoming review. We're going to review this in the upcoming weeks. But I put my daughter in it, and she's never played the climb on PC, but she is a PC veteran, and went on about this game for days, telling me every day, "Daddy, you have to try the climb because it's so beautiful." And I think that that's a testament to the job that they've done on the climb for Quest. And I absolutely agree. I think that this is a great title to put someone in for their first
Well,
experience.
even if they aren't afraid of heights, like I said, I'm not afraid of heights, but I have a healthy fear of not falling from a high place, which I think is put in all of us by God for a reason. Like, it's not good to fall and die. But this also gives you hand presence, right? Not only hand presence, which is different than a flat game, but you're climbing things. And that's one of those things in games that you're like, when you get to a game in just a regular game and you're like, oh man, climbing is cool in VR. Well, that's what you're doing this whole way. So yeah, I think this is a perfect game to showcase, try out.
Agreed. All right. So for my first pick for holiday demos is the one that I've actually used for holiday demos. As I've been around friends and family in this holiday season, I've put them all in my Oculus Quest, and I've put them all in the same game, and that game is Pistol Whip. Pistol Whip is a great demo because it's a rhythm game, but it's not a pure rhythm game. You can get into the music. It's got a great soundtrack, but we've said it many times on this channel. One of the things that it's hard to get wrong in VR is shooting. It feels good just to shoot things. So, you've got the rhythm, you've got the music, you've got the shooting. It's a potent combination, and it makes an impression from the very first time that someone puts the headset on.
Yeah, and
right?
it's good workout as well, So, but no, you're also ducking and diving and juking and jiving, and that's it's one of the fun things of VR is. It's why people love Super Hot so much. It's just moving and ducking around bullets and stuff. This is just a little bit more fast paced than Super Hot. I would not recommend putting people on this level of thing right off the bat because they're gonna probably end up falling over or something.
Yeah, when you're picking games to put newbies in, one of the most important things is to try to pick games that don't have locomotion in them, because moving around with the stick, it creates this kind of disconnect with your brain, and it induces sickness in a lot of people who haven't had any prior experience in VR. But a game like Pistol Whip that's on a rail is perfect because a lot of the games that you pick for demos normally are stationary. It doesn't give someone the sensation of moving through a world the way a lot of full-fledged VR games do. And Pistol Whip's very good because, like I said, the player gets the experience of moving through a space all from the comfort of their living room, right?
Yeah, and I guess for very rare people, they might feel a little bit discomfort just moving at all, but most people, it's not. This type of movement doesn't affect you at all.
Right. So yeah, I think Pistol Whip is one of the best, not only one of the best demo titles that we have right now, but one of the best titles in general. And the fact that a newcomer can step into this game and have fun with it. And it's not about being good. This is a hard game. I'm not very good at it, but it's still a load of fun, and I think it's a great choice as a demo.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Roots, what do you have for your number 2 holiday demo?
All right, this one is pretty much on all platforms, and I think it's a really good title because everybody knows about it, and it's really easy to play, and that's Angry Birds VR. And soon it'll be really good because you're going to create your own levels, and then you get to have your family and friends try it. But no, I just think this would be a good game that you stick somebody new in. They know exactly what Angry Birds is, and it's not hard to pull back a thing, slingshot.
Yeah, this is a great demo title because Angry Birds is a known IP. People know Angry Birds, that they have experience with Angry Birds. And when you step into this game, it's pretty much what you would expect. The visuals are spot on. Everything looks like you would expect it to look if you were inside the Angry Birds world. And I think that that's really would be striking to people who have never experienced VR. They're getting into VR for the first time. They're learning what it means to be inside the game, and they're inside this cool looking cartoony world. And then on top of all that, you have your slingshot, and it gives you the experience of using your hands in a video game for the very first time. And I think that archery games are really good for that. And a game like Angry Birds with the slingshot, definitely very good.
Yeah,
for that.
and it's so colorful and just making things chain react and fall. I think people would like. So I'd love to play Jenga, a real game of Jenga. It's a side thing, but
Oh well, there's a game called Tumble VR that's very similar to Jenga. Actually, I
no,
don't know if
I've
you've
never tried that.
one out or not.
I think it'd be fun to like play a game like that with other people. So
I'm not sure if Tumble has multiplayer in it or not. It'd be good for it if it did, but that's another topic for another day, right?
Yeah.
No, Angry Birds VR, a very good game. Actually, and one of the best things about this game is the developer. Resolution Games continues to add to this game. I thought it was a good game at first. They added in the spooky levels. I thought it became a very good game at that point, and now they're adding in the level editor on top of that, and this is becoming a great game. And it's great. It's a great game to use as a demo because anybody with hands and half a brain can play this game. And again, just a beautiful, fun, addictive experience with a load of replayability as well. All right, so for my next pick, we're going to go with, okay, you want to make an impression on somebody, right? And half of the population, especially people from my generation, have been fans of Star Wars for their entire life. And when you first try VR and you first understand what VR is and how it can put you inside the game, your mind starts racing with all of these possibilities of what might come in the future. And invariably, one of the first things we all go to is how cool would it be if you could experience a Star Wars movie from the inside. And that is what Star Wars Vader Immoral does Vader Immoral. Like Vader's like super immoral and doing all kinds. No, Vader Immortal. That's what Vader Immortal does so well. It puts you in the game. It puts a lightsaber in your hand. It gives you force ability. And for someone like myself, who's a diehard, lifelong Star Wars fan, this game was a dream come true.
Yeah, I would submit that killing all those kids was pretty immoral, but he wasn't quite Vader that yet, was he? But yeah, no, this game, like you said, it not only, I mean, everybody, the lightsabers, man, like I know when I did episode 1 and I got my lightsaber, I opened and closed that thing the entire rest of the thing. That's all, because it sounded so cool. It looked cool. The gameplay was fun. Like you said, man, who doesn't want to be in a Star Wars movie? And if you look at it from that perspective, really, it is a movie. It is a movie that you get to be a part of, and it's amazing. So,
yeah. If you're going to do something like this too, the graphics and sound have to be, on a certain level. Lucasfilm has a very high standard. I mean, I guess it's debatable with some of the prequels and sequels. People debate about the standards, but visually and sound wise, there is a very clear standard here, and this game lives up to it, even on the Oculus Quest. And I've played it on both the PC and the Quest, and it's important for it to look good in the Quest because, again, we're talking about a demo title here. So yeah, it has the look and sound of a Star Wars film. Like Root said, even waving around the lightsaber is one of the coolest things. Something you thought you'd never actually get to do in your whole life, now possible through the power of VR. Um, and as far as this game goes as a demo title, one of my biggest negatives toward this game actually helps to make it a better demo title because you can't die in it. I would like for there to be some consequence to getting hit by a blaster or a lightsaber, but there's just not. It makes your vision go red, but you never die. I'd like for it to be more challenging for me as an experienced VR player. But when you start talking about putting someone in VR who's never played VR, it's kind of perfect that they can't die,
Yeah, I didn't
right?
even think about it from that perspective because also what bothers me that it works good for newbies is when you get into battle and you can't move. Like I want to move around and hit shit, but man, when it starts, you're in this spot and you're not moving, and it's probably for that reason. They probably anticipated this was going to be a big title for new incoming Quest players, and they did not want to make you sick from the jump, So it's good.
So there you go. Weaknesses become strengths when you start talking about demoing VR for new people,
That's all
right?
right.
All right, one more from each of us, Roots. What is your final pick for holiday
All
demo?
right. My final pick, uh, only because we've already talked about Deathlap and what an amazing game that would be as well. This one is really good about scale and telling a story and getting to know a little cute little mouse named Moss. And yeah, this is I think would be an amazing game to demo to somebody, just because it's a cool story, the sense of scale, the graphics. Everybody's played a platformer, but you get to be a part of it. It's magical.
Yeah, proof positive that third person works in VR and can work. And this is kind of a weird game because it's a first slash third person game because you're controlling the little character on screen with your controller, but you do interact with it from a first person perspective, helping the little Quill, I guess we
Yeah,
should say, helping Quill through the maps. But the reason why this is such a great demo, this is a good demo for the flat gamer because the flat gamer has a certain thing that they're used to when they're playing games, playing platformers, and that is standard controls, standard progression through these worlds. And Moss gives you all that, but at the same time, it leverages VR by putting you in these worlds, and these worlds absolutely massive, and at the same time miniature and very detailed and very beautiful,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's just, I mean, just watching it almost makes me want to play it again, and I've played through it twice already. So, but yeah, it's definitely I want a sequel to this game. But yeah, this is a amazing game for newcomers, I think, and it showcases so many things that VR does right, and like you said, at the same time, it pretty much crushes the whole you can't have a third person or a platformer type of game in there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah. This game, it's absolutely one of the best games, period, that VR has to offer. And it's impressive. It's impressive the moment you get into it. And it tells a story. The characters feel like real beings. This game has soul. I don't know how else to put it. This game has soul. And it's very touching on an emotional level and very appealing on an audio visual level as
yeah,
well.
I agree.
So yeah, if you can't hook somebody with moss, then you're just not going to be able to get them
Yeah,
right.
yeah, it's really good for like people have said like for guys that trying to get their wife into VR or something. Hey honey, check out this game. It's cool. It got a cute little mouse. And but
All right. So for my final choice for holiday demos, like I said, a lot of people getting PlayStation VR, and who hasn't wanted at one point in their life to just be able to step into the shoes of an action hero and make their way through an action movie. And that is exactly what Blood and Truth on PlayStation VR allows you to do. Uh, like the other titles that we've mentioned before this one, absolutely stunning from a production sense. Um, a little heavy on cutscenes, only because this is a very story driven game, and it's action packed from start to finish,
Yeah, I
right?
need to finish this game, and now that I got the pro, I think this would be a good time to do it. But yeah, this is a great game, like you said, for to get people into VR or to give them an experience to show them what exactly VR can be, because they're getting a movie and they're getting to be an action hero jumping out of a plane. I mean, just all sorts of shit, right?
Yeah, and I can hear people now, they're saying, but Wes, you said locomotion is a bad thing for people to experience in VR. Well, again, weaknesses become strengths when you talk about demo titles, and this game is node based locomotion. So you're not actually using free movement here to get yourself sick. You're actually taking this game on layer by layer by layer. You progress to points in front of you, almost like a rail shooter, but there are branching paths. And, I thought that this could be a weakness of the game at first, but once you get into the game, you realize that instinctual. You kind of just move without thinking about it. And really, it's probably the best example I can think of node based
Yeah, it works
locomotion.
so well, and like you said, it's a way that people can kind of put their foot in the waters as far as that movement, but they're not moving with a joystick or moving forward. They're just clicking it, and it's moving them in the short bursts, and doesn't make them sick. So
Yeah, this game has a lot going for it. It's very story driven, like I mentioned. The story's being told by world class actors, actors you've seen in on movies and television, and like we said, it feels so good to shoot things in VR, and it's spot on from that perspective too. Loads of different weapons in this game. Everything, shoots. You don't have any tracking issues or anything when you're playing Blood and Truth, and I think that's another big advantage in using this as a demo for people who are new to PlayStation
yeah, I
VR.
agree. It's definitely a game to play anyway, and it's one that I would recommend showing to people for sure.
Right, exactly. It's one of the best games on PlayStation VR, period, and a lot of the aspects of it making an absolutely great
Yeah.
demo.
So when people say there's no good games in PlayStation VR or in VR in general, say, "Oh, really? Let me show you Blood and Truth."
Yeah, right, right. Who could play this game and say, "Man, that
Yeah,
was
shit,
terrible"?
man. It's worse. Jank. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to wrap up our talk on holiday demos. What are you putting your friends and loved ones in? Let us know in the comments down below, and you'll notice down in the description there's also an invitation to join our Discord. We're in there all day, every day, talking about VR. So be sure to drop by and let us know what you're putting your friends and family to in this holiday season. A couple quick notes going forward before we end the episode. Channel notes for those of you who want to help out by suggesting categories for our end of the year show. Time's running out, just another day or two before we take those down and choose what categories we're going to be giving awards for. So if you haven't already, come into the Discord, leave your suggestions. Ruuts and I are going to iron this thing out in a day or two. Another quick note going forward, as I mentioned earlier and in other episodes, my work schedule has changed drastically, which is changing our shooting schedule drastically. And I think, at least for this week, it's going to change our publishing schedule slightly. And what I mean by that is I think that the Virtual Strangers 38, which would normally air on Sunday, I think we're going to move it up a day. We're going to put it on Saturday. Not exactly sure what time we're going to put it up. It's either going to be very early in the morning or later in the afternoon. We're going to make a concerted effort to not step on the toes of F Reality, as if they would even
Hmm.
notice. And we don't want to conflict with our good friends at Rendered Reality either, as they do their coffee and VR show. So we're going to find a nice unclaimed spot on Saturday and set our butt down right in the middle of everything, and hopefully people will show up for it. And with the new schedule, very likely we're going to stick to it especially after the new year comes and I get back to work. Saturday's probably going to be the permanent home for the Virtual Strangers program. As far as the Monday show goes, it wouldn't be the Monday show if it wasn't on Monday,
Yeah, it'd
right?
be weird, right? Have it on Wednesday, the Monday show on Wednesday.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, a couple of things there for you to take into consideration. And I guess that's going to wrap us up here. So, yeah, we'd like to thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It helps support our channel, helps us grow. And you can do that by clicking the red button there. Click that bell if you want to be notified of our episodes as they come up. And click this button right here if you like this episode. All right, that said, friends, we'd like to thank you once again for watching. And for Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you tomorrow, friends.
Take it easy.